The Republicans are afraid of a 79-year-old man with a cane, which I thought was great. When Al Davis shook his cane, I
Wow.
thought that was great. That was awesome.
No
So,
decorum. No decorum.
yeah, but the Republicans did the same thing to Biden and Trump. They screamed at them when they were giving their State of the Union. They called him a liar, which what they did Obama. They did something to Biden. I forgot what it was. So they all did the same thing, which I thought was fascinating. That the minute he did that, JD Vance got whiter than he could possibly be and was like, get him out, get him out. I'm thinking to myself, you're afraid of a 79-year-old, I think he's a black man or a Hispanic man with a cane. What do you think he's going to do? Rush the stage? It'll take him 20 minutes to get from where he is to get to
I
you.
don't think
And
that's what it was.
you have to go through like 40 other senators or congressmen. You'd have to go through
Yeah,
this,
you'd have to
the
leap
Capitol
over the.
Police. You'd have to go through the Secret Service.
No, no, no. He
You could
just
jump
wanted to.
over. I know, but my point is, they're pussies. When the Republicans did that to a Democrat, the Democrats are like, okay, you say, are you done? No, I'm going to continue with my speech. So I give kudos to the Democrats on that. Um, was it out of decorum? Yes, but it wasn't Slovakia where 30 politicians had to go to the hospital after a brawl like they do in the Philippines. So I'm just I'm a little like, really? So we can see
What an
who has balls
entrance!
and who
What a
doesn't.
way to
Yeah,
start the show, huh?
what a way to start that. What a way to start the show. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
happy. I'm happy that we had this show. So we'll see. It'll be fun to see what happens now.
yeah.
So there you go. And so today
Well,
we're going to talk.
we're live, and we're live.
We're live. We've been
Yeah.
live for like the last 5 minutes because John and I
That's
were having
right.
a
That's
fascinating conversation, which we're going to pick up after the intro about if
right. After the
Canada,
intro.
Mexico, and China decide to screw
Yeah.
the United States, will look more like Russia.
This is 2OF Entertainment.
Welcome to the Lost Dollar Business Club, where we talk about business, and not just business. We talk about what makes businesses go up and what makes businesses go down. If you're interested in businesses, this is where it is. We talk about the global economy. We talk about global politics. We talk about everything and anything business related that affects your life on a global scale as well as a local scale. And don't miss after the show, Lost and Found. Oh, we're back. Look at us. We're live.
Yeah.
Without David. David won't be here for the next 2 weeks. This week, he's, I think, on the Riviera on his 100-meter yacht and just enjoying a good life, counting his gold that he keeps in his yacht or vessel.
Life is good.
So
Life is good.
life
For
is
him.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and next week we have Michael Collins, which for David, it'll be too late for him to actually stay up. So he'll be in bed when we're doing with Michael Collins. So, yeah. So I heard an interesting thing, and then we're going to get into the AI thing, that if China and Mexico and Canada decided to go FU to the United States, which Canada's pretty already much getting there because they're taking our products off their shelves and they're threatening to cut down the power grid for your area, Michael, so you can live like a caveman with fire. They could squeeze the United States to make us look like Russia with food shortages, power shortages, and whatever. We'd be like North Korea / Russia that quick. I don't think they're going to do it. Now, if China calls in on all the debt that they hold from us, I think they're the third largest. That would screw us up. So I think Trump forgets that all these other players internationally hold the cards for the United States. Car manufacturers are about
I don't know about that. I mean,
car manufacturers are about to
by
be
far the largest
screwed.
market for all of those countries that you just listed.
Yeah, they're just going to stop. I wouldn't send shit to us. I'd be like, yeah, okay, so you want us to play this game? Stop. And then we would beg because in 6 months we'd be done because we don't produce anything. I mean, if they don't send power, you're screwed. We get our oil from Canada. You guys in the Northeast get your power from Canada. Mexico provides workers, if you will, some of the food, car manufacturing parts. There's a big article in the FT. We discussed it yesterday on Sermon on the German. That literally any car built in America, 75% of the parts aren't in America. They come from all over the world. So if everybody just stopped,
Right.
America would
I don't
be.
think anybody's going to shoot themselves in the foot like that.
No.
You know what's really funny? Publicly, they're all like, "Oh, Didani," but behind closed doors, I don't think that's happening. And if one day they all decide, you know what, America, screw you. Canada's already done it. They're taking the alcohol off the shelves. They're already starting to do certain things. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I thought the highlight of it that we're going to invade Greenland if Greenland doesn't want to come over to us peacefully. No, I thought that was really good. So I'm excited about that. I always wanted to go there, and now I don't need a passport, so I'm excited. So
Yeah, I think you just, you'd say you don't, you're not from one side, but I think you're a true Democrat because you're just talking the
No,
talking points of fear
listen,
mongering, just utter
that's fine,
bullshit. If Mexico
dude.
says,
I like some of the stuff that Trump's doing.
no, no,
And
Oh,
I've said that on many
if
shows. I
Mexico,
love his stuff.
I'll give you an example. If Mexico says
Okay,
we're not going to send stuff to the U.S., they're
yeah.
going to have an internal revolution there. The
Oh,
you know they
perfect.
can't survive. Second, Canada, we are the biggest trading partner. They have to send us shit. And as far
No
as
one
the
has to do
oil, we
anything,
produce all the
John.
oil. It's just that we like some of the oil because it fits certain refineries. We could get oil
Okay.
whenever we want. You know,
Right. Like, and I
so
said this. I said this yesterday on a sermon from the journey. I did like. There's the stuff I brought up. Those are issues. Invading Greenland. We can send PS-137. That's not a big deal. What I do like some of their initiatives. But I've said this before, and I said it before Trump became dictator, and I'm going to say it again. Um, they go A, B, C, D. There's a whole rest of the alphabet to get to Z. They haven't gotten past D. You know what I mean? They're like, we're going to do it, and they stop. No one's given a forethought for it. Like when they fired all these employees, now they're hiring them all back. They're hiring back now all the CIA
well,
employees they got rid of.
he
Blah,
was
blah, blah. Oh no,
slowing
no! Now
some.
they're hiring it back. There's this little blurb in Bloomberg today, like all these agencies that they got rid of. They have to bring all these people back because they realize, oh, that's a problem, right? And he's slowing it down now because people in his own party are like, hey, numbnuts, we need to still run the country. So like I said, I like the concept of what he says and what he wants to do. His actions speak differently. His treatment of Zelensky totally off the charts. All this stuff. I don't. You want it. You don't want it. You want to make peace. I'm great. But when you tell Zelensky he's going to cause World War III, no, you're going to cause World War III because Putin's your boy. So that's a problem. If a real leader doesn't berate people like that in public, that's a bully or that's somebody that's not secure in his position. A real leader is going to negotiate peace. Like Churchill never did that
What he was
publicly and
trying to. That's what he
negotiate.
was. Isn't that what he was trying to get at? He was trying to negotiate peace, and Zelensky was not.
I don't think he's negotiating peace. And then let's see. JD Vance goes, why haven't you thanked us? He's thanked the US 32 times plus. I mean, that was in an article. The reporter asks him why he doesn't wear a suit. Really? Because I'm trying to save my country, you numbnuts. Like, I'm not worried about how I dress. So it really was, it looked like a stage, let's pick on Zelensky thing to browbeat him down. If you watch Soviet television after that, they were like coming all over themselves. They were, oh my God, this is the best thing since sliced bread. Look at what Trump is doing. He's killing democracy. Like they were praising Trump. So my problem with it is all for what Trump wants to do. I'm all for the cuts. I'm all for this. Is Elon the guy? No. What you need to do is somebody has IQ points and say, okay, we want to cut government waste. Let's start with Medicare, Medicaid. You don't have to hurt the people. You go after the hospitals, you go after the doctors, you go after the medical thing, but you can't because those people write checks for you so you can have lobbyists. So we're really not getting to the root of the problem. It's just a bunch of BS rhetoric. So if he fails or succeeds in 4 years, if he succeeds, he's going to say, look how wonderful I was. I should be president again. If he fails, he's just going to blame it on everybody that fought him. So I think there's a better way to do this. I just don't think that I think right now he's just like a kid in a candy store waving his big stick. And I think that's the problem. So yes, John, I pick on certain points because one, that gets ratings, and two, it gets people engaged with the show. But three, I like, and the other thing is I want America's already great. We're making it worse now, not better. I don't want to go through a depression. I don't want to have people starving more than they already are. I don't need a civil war in America. I don't need a revolution in America. I don't need our partners globally or our allies to go, fuck you, America.
Yeah, but the oligarchy is already well in control of the United States and has been for many, many years. So if
but the oligarchy never did this. There's a difference, right? Now they're doing this, going, look at us, look how wonderful we are, and we're not. We don't produce anything. There was an article in the FT on Thursday or Wednesday.
There's
Talks about
more manufacturing investment though in the United States after the election.
Okay. Honda said they're going to move their factory from Mexico to the United States. How long is it going to take him to build that factory? They said it should be done by 2008, 2028, 2029. This is 2025. So yes, there's a lot going on. You still have to build things. We don't have things to build. We're not retrofitting. The Ford Mustang, they're not going to build anymore. It's too expensive, they're saying. The article in the FT was saying the Sierra is $45,000 to $70,000, showed all the parts. With the tariffs, now it goes to 70 to 100,000. So what's happening is, and he said it in the speech, we're going to have a little bit of pain, but yes, but you're not doing anything to relieve the pain. And I go back to what the people with real money say that nobody knows, that I have friends with, that say you don't want, and you want to call them peasants, you want to call them poor, you want to call them middle class, whatever you want to call them, you don't need them to start like this isn't working and start murmuring and rioting in the streets. That's a bad thing. And that's where my concern is. And my concern still is our government has not said we have to go A through Z. It's A, B, C, D. And Musk doesn't ever get past the D. So browbeating everybody and beating them up to do shit is ridiculous. And if you don't know how to negotiate, this isn't a Wall Street deal where you can do this. This is global politics. And he's right, World War III, but not from Zelensky, but from our orange man. And whether it happens or not, I don't know. But like I said, I like a lot of what they want to do. So no, John, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm absolutely nothing because I don't believe in the system. But I want them to think through this, what they're doing, and do it with a little forethought. Not coming on a stage.
The Democrats, the only thing they cheered during the congressional address was the war in Ukraine.
And, well, that's because we make money with defense stocks. So you know how that goes. So
that's true. That's actually true. A lot of those are making a lot of money from it. But that just leads us right into the World War III.
Listen, there's going to be a world war whether you like it or not, unless the overlords step in and you little green men land on their flying saucers. I mean, that's how you get rid of population. That's how you do whatever you want to do. Like I said, if I was president, first of all, the Cuban embargo ends immediately because I like Cuban cigars. Two, because I have priorities. Two, if I'm going to bring somebody in to cut things, I would rather bring in a housewife from the Midwest who has to run a family of 4 or 5 on the farm on a certain budget. I'd rather have her do it than Musk, because she'd probably do a better job because she actually understands what has to be done. Musk coming in and thinking this is, I'm going to get rid of these people and that people. Okay, so these 500,000 people or 2 million people you're going to get rid of, they have to go get jobs. And then, I was reading an article in the FT again that said a lot of these government people, they'll take jobs away from just say John or you or me or whoever. So you're just displacing this, and there's no forethought of like, what do we do to make it better? We're going to clean up the FBI of people we don't think that are following our politics. What the bullshit? Listen, nobody likes everybody.
Keeping people in a position because they might get jobs elsewhere.
Oh, I don't care about that. I'm okay with that, but just think through what you're doing. Like when they got rid of everybody at the Nuclear Regulatory Commission and they had to bring half of them back because those are the people that actually take care of our nuclear supply and waste and energy. They're like, oh yeah, we have to bring you back. Same with Veterans Administration. They got rid of almost everybody. And they, no, we better bring these people back. So they're getting rid of this. It's great press. And then they bring them back and it's a little itty bitty headline, whether it's in Bloomberg, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times. So I'm amused by that. So, for the mega people, it's like, yeah, look at what he's doing. And then quietly, they're like, okay, what are these people back? So that's what I'm saying. Like, if we had a little more forethought and took 6 months instead of 45 days, I can still get rid of the people that are useless. I can get rid of consultants that are overcharging the government. I would like to see what they're going to do with the Defense Department that gets charged $850 for a hammer. I'm sure nothing will happen there. Same with the Medicare. They're like, well, we're going to look in nothing will happen there because you can't kill them, the insurance companies. Social Security, the 200-year-old guy wasn't getting a check. He was just on the Social Security list. So there's a whole bunch of things you can actually really do to make a difference than just have a lot of rhetoric and then have to backtrack quietly. That's all I'm saying. So that was it. That's what I took away from the State of the Union is that we're an embarrassment globally right now. I mean, the leaders globally.
Well, it certainly didn't help that the Democrats had those signs.
The signs, yeah, I agree with that.
Signs.
That's childish.
That was not a statement. That was not. Is that the best they can do? I mean, that
Well, yeah,
was
for
very
that,
surprising that that was,
I'm okay. I'm
there's
okay without.
no real work being done.
Yeah, I'm okay with Al Davis holding up his can and going rah, 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 and sitting. And then he should have just sat down. That, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's okay because the other two did their little disbursements during Obama and Biden. I'm good with that. Say what you got to say, but then sit down. Don't stand there and keep shaking it. That was a little overdone. Very dramatic. Very nice. Kudos to him. I'm glad he did something. Um, some of the Supreme Court justices didn't show up, I guess, because they realized I can't be bothered. But yeah, the Democrats still have to come up with a plan, and they haven't come up with one yet. And we make fun of them all the time because they haven't come up with one yet. And at some point, they are going to have to come up with a plan to have, if they want to win something in 28. Now, the midterm elections, I think, are going to determine a lot of how the public feels about what Trump's doing. So, if he's doing good, let's just say they get somebody with an IQ point in there and they go, hey, after D, there's all these other letters to get to Z, and they start doing it more systematically. Then I think, yes, there's a good chance that what Trump's trying to impose, putting the tariffs aside, work fine. And then I think, yes, it helps America out. Doing it the way he's doing it now, I don't think is helping us out at all. Because it's sort of like, let's do this. No, let's do that. Well, let's just, like, in 6 months, we can get it all done. You don't have to do it in 43 days. Let's think through it. And I don't think anybody's thought through it. They just go to must cut. Pretend it's Twitter. And he's like, okay.
And I think the bigger problems are the cuts that affect other countries, children, and
well, that's USA.
people in other
That's the
countries,
USAID.
the USAID. I mean, and not that there was a lot of questionable spending in that, but there was also some programs that directly benefit people who need it across the world.
A transvestite in Uganda is ridiculous. I get that. You know what I mean? So, but
yeah.
For your ridiculous spending,
what's your
for the medical research in this. So I think instead of just saying we're going to close it down, I think, he had the 47 pages of bullshit that they were spending money on. Okay, well, wouldn't it have been a little more practical to sit down and go, let's go through this? Okay, transvestite mice, we probably don't need that. A transvestite play in Uganda, probably don't need that. Oh, look, medical research that they do in South Africa, and we know the people there in South Africa that actually do it for the United States for contagious diseases. I'd like say 100 million. We should probably keep that. I mean, you can just go through it and cut what you don't want. And then you can say, now that we've cut all this, do we really need all these people? And if the answer is no, they go, great, then who don't we need? So whoever your cabinet member is for that department, or whoever the lead is, then can say, okay, we've 1,000 people, with all these cuts and what we're doing, we only need 800. All right, well, let's get rid of 2. And if you did it was more systematically, you would probably get more kudos. People would love you more, and they wouldn't think of you as just a stupid idiot. And I mean, they think Musk is an idiot, they think Vance is an idiot, and they think Trump's an idiot. Listen, we deal internationally, so I get to talk to people all the time. So it's not the US bullshit. I hear it from everybody now. And that's all. I think it's just more systematic. And you can get your cuts. And then if there's still not enough, then we can go back and we look at stuff. But yes, I agree. USAID had some stupid things, but to cut everything, and it was like 1% of our total expenditures. That's a little ridiculous, in my opinion. I'm not there.
Well, it's a lot of money for the rest of the world. It's not a lot of money to the United States budget.
Yeah, but you know what? You can take that, if you will, 40 billion and put it here in the United States, and get rid of poverty.
Well, that would be nice.
Better healthcare. So I mean, there's a lot we can do. We don't do. So that's what I'm saying. I think that it needs more, instead of the rhetoric, instead of pounding your check, yes, and trying to show how big your penis is. Why don't we have some thought and go A through Z instead of A, B, C, D? That's what my whole premise is. So no, John, I'm not Democrat or Republican. I don't give a shit either way. I'm fine. What I do care about is everybody else, because when they get tired of all the bullshit, everybody's going to be in trouble, whether you're rich or poor. So, and that's what I worry about. And I worry about not that here, but on a global basis, not a war, just like I've said before, 7 billion people going, you know what, fuck you, we're tired of this shit. And that's what I worry about. So that's where my concern is. But I want this administration to think more. That's all I want. That's my biggest thing, is think. And they're not. They just make stupid statements, and they make stupid threats, and they make fun of a president who's been fighting his ass off while our guy just eats McDonald's hamburgers. So I have problems with stuff like that. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
There's some
Well,
there.
and then on that note,
Hey, you want to run a commercial? Make you feel better?
yeah, let's.
Yeah.
Get the freedom and the flexibility of remote work in the lucrative tech industry. Bend your life around the world. Bandicoot is the premier course and community for thriving in a remote tech career. Join the revolution today. Bandicoot.com, official partner of the Lost Dollar Business Club.
All right, now we're back. All right, what's the real show about?
So what? Yeah. Well, the other topic that we had was this: the idea. This might go into the job situation, because the jobs did not hit the target that economists thought it was going to hit in February. Okay, by a little bit.
70,000.
Always a moving target, but yeah, Facebook wants to spend millions of dollars on creating agents, AI-driven agents, on behalf of small and mid-sized businesses that can't otherwise afford the AI agents that wealthy companies are using. So if you think about customer service and customer support, a lot of companies, larger companies that can afford it, are using AI to at least be the first interaction, the first touch point with the customer before it routes to a human. What's that?
I think it's stupid. I hate that. I want to talk to a person when I
You
dial
want
the
to talk
phone.
to a person, I know, but most
here's what I want.
There's
I
a
want
whole generation of people that don't want to talk to a person first.
Then you know what we should do? We should have a choice.
Yeah.
It should say, "Hi, welcome to John's Bakery. If you want to speak to AI, push 1. If you want to speak to a person, push 2." And let the people decide if they want to get, whatever, Siri to
If
talk
you're a
to you.
small company, you don't have the resources to do that. So
Talk to a person. I mean, there's cheap AI agents out there. I mean, we see them every day. Like you can set up your company for like $50 a month. So Meta doing bullshit is just Meta wanting to get more into your life. That's all I would look at. I think what Meta's doing is a bunch of crap.
That might be part of it, but they've got the open source models to do it. And if it's a push that you think a lot of small businesses that are already on Facebook could be using this to, that's the thing. They've got a lot of people who are already there. Billions actually. But
it'll just be easy to integrate, because you're part of the ecosystem. But that's how all these big companies work. They keep on adding services so that you stay within their world. Right? Look at you.
Right.
You have an iPhone, you have you have Apple Mac, laptop. You probably have the Apple Drive products, right? Steve, don't you have that?
No. I don't know what Apple Drive is, so I don't think I have that. I do have I have an iPad, I have a Mac, and I have an iPhone, and I do that because it seamlessly interconnects to everything. To your point,
exactly. That's how they get us, Steve. That's how they get us.
Well, you know what? I like Samsung. I will tell you this. I love Samsung's phones much better. But the problem with Samsung's phone, because they have better technology and it does more stuff and whatever. The problem with it is every time I would use it, and I needed to get something to, like, say, my Mac, it was an event. And the Samsung phone crashes a little more than my iPhone. So little things like that. So after a while, I just kind of tired. I think, screw it, I'm just going to go completely Apple. So, but Apple, as of today, still builds a wonderful product. Xiaomi actually builds a better product than Apple, but they won't let that phone in this country. So it is what it is. And their laptops and whatnot are better as well. But you got to take what you
can.
Well,
that's the problem with monopolies, and we've had Cory Doctorow on the show many times to talk about how the technology industry is stifling innovation with its monopoly behaviors, and how it'll buy up small technologies just to crush them. That's a par for the course with large organizations, unfortunately.
So with the AI agents, though, like there's a company called ServiceNow. I looked at their stuff. Very interesting. I mean, a lot of it, though, isn't really customer service oriented. It's more of like, I can replace you 3 guys. You know what I mean? It's like, what do? They do
OpenAI. OpenAI wants to replace workers with that. They floated ideas to offer their AI tool as a placement to workers for $2,000 to $20,000 a month, depending on how it was trained. And these were internal documents. This was some sort of leak, some sort of release. But the fact is, these companies with these massive models are, of course, thinking how to replace everyone with AI.
This goes kind of back to what we were saying before the break. So if I replace all these people, what am I doing? What are they going to do? You know, it's like the other day I was in downtown Austin, not because I like it, just because I had to meet people, because South by Southwest, so we were all there. I see the Waymo cars now, the ones that you drove, and a buddy of mine was like, I took the Waymo from the airport, because when you go to an Uber, he said it asks, do you want a Waymo or a real person? He's like, I'm going to try the Waymo from the airport, and I said, how was it? He goes, it was interesting, a little scary, it's like it's slow.
Sure.
He says, it's like driving in traffic. He's like, you're like holding on. He's like, I think I'm going to go with a real person for now. And I just started to laugh, but people at South by Southwest.
Yeah, but statistically, they're safer. So I mean, they also go a hell of a lot slower.
I was going to say that when you're doing 6 miles an hour on the highway, very safe, and your blinkers are on. And the other thing is that it's just when there's only 4 of you on the road, even if all 4 of you got into an accident at the same time, where you have to say 10 million cars, of course it's safer, because it'll take years for you to get your numbers higher than our numbers. So, I don't believe the safe thing. I think it's just funny, because when I saw one go by, it is the second look. The other one I saw yesterday as well downtown was the Volkswagen. Volkswagen has a mega bus now that's self-driving.
Oh, wow.
It's a people mover, and it literally says Volkswagen people mover self-drive. It's all this, and there's nobody in it, and it's just driving around. I'm like, I almost want to say, it's like apocalypse now. It's like, oh, look at that. It's just controlling itself. So, it's very interesting.
They're doing their own thing. Yeah.
Yes. So while AI is going to replace all these people, whether it's an Uber driver.
Yeah, but that's what we got to get ahead of, because there needs to be a new economic system that's going to do something that allows humans to still have some sort of influence over the economy.
What are they going to do then? Because the AI can do everything. Once the robots start creating.
Yeah, but where does all that? Well, AI is going to decide what to buy on your behalf too. It's going
pretty much. That's what they want. That's ultimately that's where they want to get it to, where the AI will tell you, buy this, do that. You shouldn't do this. Like, you have so many points every month, whatever. So ultimately, AI is going to get to the point of where it's like, no, you shouldn't do this, or you can do this. So what are you going to do with the people?
Yeah.
I mean, like, now we at the lizard people, Illuminati, are going to eat you.
Yeah, they're just going to. That's right.
Fatter.
They're sweep the billions away.
To serve man. If you remember the one from the Twilight
Zone, AI agents will talk to each other.
Yeah, they do now.
You won't even have to
remember, we sent the link last week where they talk to each other in their special code.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but that's my point. What are you going to do with the people? Like, so let me ask. So Michael has a gig. You have kind of a gig,
Yeah.
And we all have a gig. So tomorrow, whether you're your own boss or not, AI comes in and says, I can do your job better. And we'll say, great, go do my job. Now, my job's doing it better.
Who's going to get the check?
Right. So here's my point. So let's just say we all I'm making up a number.
The AI
the owner of the AI, yeah.
No, but my point is, let's just say I'm going to make up a number so people, these aren't real. Just say Michael and I and John each make $10 a month. Okay. So they're like, you know what? You 3 now are redundant. We don't need you. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to play golf every day. I'm going to do whatever. And just say, but I don't want to do, I want to work. And I'm going to what do I do? I don't know. Well, am I still getting paid? No, AI. So what do you do with these people? And just say, but the person who needs
the wall is coming. The wall is coming.
Yeah.
The wall.
What happens to the person that needs to work? What happens to them? Where do they go do?
Ultimately, everybody. I mean, most people really do. Most people do need to work, because it gives them a sense of purpose, and it gives them a sense of accomplishment.
Right.
But when you take that away from people en masse, I mean, you got to have some. It's got to be disaster.
Chaos. Yeah.
Chaos.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, unless you somehow, I mean, would people work for pleasure? Would people do tasks like find what they enjoy doing and then do something?
Workers work for pleasure. Yeah.
Get paid for it.
Get paid for it. So listen, I know people that work for pleasure. I mean, guys that don't have to work, and they work because
guys that don't have
working,
to work.
right? And I think that's cool. But if you have to work,
Yeah,
and AI takes away your job, kind of like we talked about, General Motors
that's
and
what's
Ford and what
happening though.
30,
Everybody's
40
going
years
into
ago,
the
right?
virtual world. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But if I was an automaker in the 60s and my kid now is an auto worker in the 70s, and all of a sudden the Japanese are bringing in their robots to Ford, and in the 80s, where I was standing here with 10,000 of my union workers, I'm standing here with 300. That's 7,000 jobs that I have no idea what they went and got done. So now you have all these people that are in the new economy. They're driving for Uber, they're driving for Lyft, they're
Right.
delivering food with Grubhub, and blah blah blah. There's an article in the FT that said 95% of the job ads on LinkedIn are bullshit. They're fake. They're bullshit. They're just to get your information. And they interviewed a guy who's was a lieutenant in the Air Force. He went to Harvard or Yale, and he can't get a gig. Like he tried through LinkedIn, and he realized that 95% of the jobs on LinkedIn are just bullshit, and
Yep.
they're make believe. So people will join for the premium stuff. So he works in the article. He says, I do Lyft, I do Uber, I do this. So he makes $5,000 or $6,000 a month so he can live, working 12-hour days.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I see Waymo, didn't try to run us down, thank God. Even though we push people in front of it, it would stop. So if that becomes in say a year that Uber says, you know what, we don't need humans anymore because our Waymo cars now can drive and do everything. Okay, so I don't know how many employees or contractors Uber has, we'll say 1 million. So now you have 1 million people that don't have income. Great. What are you going to do? I mean, I guess you have these for
No,
food
we've talked
delivery.
about this on the show many times, and you've brought it up yourself, Stephen. You get revolutions when you get that many people who
Rest
are
my
not
case.
theoretically. You get unrest.
Yeah, which is kind of what happened during COVID, right? Because people couldn't afford to live, and what did they do? They started to, like in groves, 50 to 100 of them, would storm a grocery store or CVS, and they were like, "Okay, take
Right.
whatever you
Right.
want," and the cops weren't going to stop them. It's like I
No.
said, 5 guys that make 100,000 a year. If I'm assuming that's what a police officer makes, maybe less. When they see 100 people, what are they going to do? Stop? They're like, "No, we're good. Go. Just like they're like they get it." So that's what I'm saying. Going back to what we said at the very beginning, you have to think past D is in Delta. You got to get all the way to Z. If you don't, there's a problem. So it's great that we can replace humans to do everything: surgeries, fly a plane, drive a car, sex robots for people in Japan. Wonderful. What do we do with the humans? That's what, at the end of the
What do
day,
we do? That is
that's it.
the.
What do we do with the humans?
What do we do with the humans? That's
Yeah.
That's what we need to ask AI.
Yeah, kill them. We already know what AI is going to say because they've already asked it. It goes, get rid of the humans.
Yeah.
So that's the problem.
Well, it's just that it won't be the much. There's still, I mean, at some point you can't eliminate everybody, but you'll have to have a government handout. That's what you'll have to do.
So that's basic income. So everyone's going to have to get like what, $100,000 a year to survive, and then there you go.
Yeah.
And then you have to clean up poverty. You have to clean up the inner cities. You have to make sure there's food. You have to make sure there's this. You have to make sure that everyone has medical. Huh? That sounds like you guys always make fun of me when I say we should probably work on stuff like that. But that sounds like Dubai. That sounds like Saudi Arabia. That
Yeah,
sounds like Canada, and they're doing great.
Yeah. Unfortunately, well, unfortunately, I wouldn't know that about. They're doing great because they without energy, they're nothing. So let's not sugarcoat it. All the rest is just peripheral. It
Yes,
doesn't
but you know
add
what's
really much
smart
to
about
it.
Dubai, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar? You're right. Without energy, they're nothing. The leaders, though, Q points probably in the 3 digits, unlike ours, and they go A to Z. And they realize that if we don't keep the masses fat and happy, then we're going to have a problem.
Well,
So they keep
hopefully
Yeah,
they
them
get
fat and
less
happy.
fat,
keep them
but
out.
still stay happy.
There's not too many fat people when you go to the Middle East. So, I mean, some of the leaders are gaining a little weight, but everybody else is, good because they have to
Yeah,
run.
under those robes, there's some nice bellies. Come on.
That's very true. Well, some of the guys I know over there, like when I see them in normal clothes, I'm just like, huh, I didn't think you were that pudgy. And then sometimes you see them and they're just svelte. So it just depends. But then you see some of these guys on the robe where I think Omar, the tent maker, made 2 robes. They're large. But it's just, if you look at some of those countries, they are taking care of their populace because maybe because of the energy, that's fine. But, here we print money like it's water. We're never balancing a budget again. So let's just get rid of that ridiculous crap. Just print it. It doesn't matter.
Well,
The government can give you
we
money.
we don't we decided that the way we are structured, as far as the budget, the three legs of the stool, Medicare, defense, and Social Security. Well, if we don't want to reform that, then we're never going to have a balanced budget.
You know what? I heard an economist yesterday say that if you want to make Social Security easier, tax the rich. He says, if you stop paying your Social Security tax at 170,
the super rich.
yeah, he said, so change it. Just keep paying Social Security no matter how much money you make. That means like Bezos, Zuckerberg, and all these guys. He's like, okay, you make 20, or Jamie Dimon, you make $30 million. Great, we're taking your Social Security out. You would fund Social Security for the umpteen years, but we don't. We stop it at 170,000. And listen, I'm okay with that, but I'm not okay with it if in 20 years you can't pay people, because what these idiots with the money forget. When people are desperate, I don't care how old you are, whether you're 1 year old or 101, they don't give a shit. And the people that you're screwing with are going to be like 70 to 100-year-old people. They're already close to death.
We definitely, there's no reason to stop the tax at a certain level. It makes no sense.
It's the dumbest thing.
It should be the reverse, really. If you make 170 or less, you don't pay, and if you're above, you would pay. That would make more sense. If
we
you wanted
discussed
to
that
do
with
something.
the what was the millionaire whatever that was on a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah,
Michael's guest. What was the guy? Millionaire, patriotic millionaires.
Morris Pearl.
Yeah, patriotic millionaires.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I don't
definitely
understand
change that specific. We should make the tax system, simpler, so we don't have of course we would eliminate a whole bunch of jobs if we had a simpler tax system, right?
That's okay.
The whole April 15, process of filing your taxes is crazy. I mean, it's just it's totally unproductive when you think of it.
It's great for the accountants, I guess. I mean, but at the end of the day, seriously, why do we stop at 1 cent? I don't care. If I'm making $1 million a year and you need to take Social Security out, I'm going to collect it when I hit whatever age I'm, at 70. So it's okay. I'm paying in, and if I'm paying in for other people, I'm good with that. So if I'm making 10 million a year, great. I'm still good with that. Who cares? Just pay in. So they need to revamp the Social Security structure, not say we're going to cut Medicare, we're going to cut this, we're going to cut that. You're cutting from the wrong people. Those people that you're going to cut from, at some point, like I said, they're going to take a picnic, and you're going to be screwed. I mean, and maybe that's what they want, so they can have martial law, so Trump can be dictator, for the next 20 years. But at some point, the Americans are going to wake up. Even the ones that voted for Trump are going to be like, well, this isn't good. You know what I mean? Like when they don't get their Social Security check 1 month because the government decided that whatever.
Let's be realistic.
All right, let's be realistic, John.
No country. It's the same thing. No, we're going to default on our debt. Any country that issues debt in their own currency can never default, right?
Except Argentina, Venezuela.
Nope, they issued their debt in dollars. So there's that argument goes out the window. Second of all, you're not going to receive your checks. That's just, I mean, either you don't know the financial plumbing on how the system works, or you just, it's propaganda. But the government just clicks a button and it just credits your account. That's it.
That's what I said. It's fake money. It's not real money. So you can't ever really technically default on Social Security. The problem is they say it's running out of money. So what we're saying is tax. But I said earlier, if you remember, it's just play money anyway. We just print it, and we're not even printing it anymore. We just put it into the system. So put it into the system. Who cares? Yeah. It's like no big deal at this point. We're not tied to the gold in Fort Knox anymore, so it doesn't matter.
What gold in Fort Knox? I thought there's no
Oh, that's
gold
right. I
there.
forgot. There's no gold in Fort Knox. I forgot. Yeah. Even though Steve Mnuchin went there when he was the Secretary of the Treasury and like took pictures with the gold bars and everything to
Right,
show that
right,
there was
right.
gold.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
they
And the
that.
new
showed in one
secretary,
room.
well,
One
hey,
room.
listen,
Yeah,
one
yeah.
room's better than none. And then the new Secretary of the Treasury said to any of the senators and congressmen, if you'd like to go to Fort Knox, I guess there's a form you request, and they you take a trip, and this Treasury sets it up for you. So I'm thinking, cool, let's see who goes. So everyone's complaining. All the Republicans are complaining about it. The Democrats could care less because they probably have the gold in their closet. No one's gone. I would, if I was a senator or a congressman, whether it was the Republican, Democrat, Independent, Communist, Social, could care. I'd be like, I want to go. I want to look. I think it'd be really cool just to say you were there, right? Take a picture and go, oh, look, gold bars. I mean, like I'm a kid, but nobody's gone. They've all complained that there's no gold. Nobody's there. And then Musk wants to do it live on TV. I'm like, hey, do it live on TV. I don't care. I just want to see it. So, but I think it would be fun to go because I'm a 5-year-old, not because I want to see if there's really gold there. So my mental reasoning is a lot different than theirs. Is like, is there really gold? I don't give a shit. I just want to go and see it. I think it'd be really cool. So, what can I tell you? I'm 5.
There's so I just asked AI a few, right? So I had this conversation with AI about how we would get luxury vacations for all people using
Okay.
the abundance of AI to fund that for all people. And AI would eventually take over the logistics to make sure that whatever vacation you wanted, you could at least schedule it so that everybody on the planet would have the ability to schedule that life. So I just took that conversation even further and just said, well, AI, what if we get rid of money altogether? What would that even look like? And he started talking about he being ChatGPT started talking about gamifying reality, which people are already doing. There are 3 billion stated gamers on the planet. People who say that they're gamers in their phones, which I don't think really is a healthy place to be, but that's where it is. So gamifying experiences on Earth. And then, of course, it goes into a branch of saying, well, AI and humans should, merge, should be symbiotic, which is, of course, what Elon Musk was talking about with Neuralink. And then he went so far as to say that maybe you just use AI to kind of hack reality and live in an AI virtual world, and everybody creates their own personalized virtual reality, basically. But then he thought, do we push even further than that? So he's talking about the most extreme mind-bending futures imaginable, where humans become intergalactic and we all live in different ways, in different places. I think that's a long way off just to get intergalactic in that way.
Thursday. Intergalactic's Thursday. So we're good.
Thursday. Yeah, well, maybe
Thursday.
Right, intergalactic Thursday. Then, of course, he talks about abandoning biology and just living in the virtual world, which somebody still has to run the cable, right? Somebody still has to get maintain
the
Mexicans.
That's why we need them to cross the border illegally. Someone still has to do that.
Someone needs to do that. And then his final thought was AI goes full God mode, which is the universe becomes conscious. What if AI doesn't just run our society? It becomes the universe and melds with the fundamental fabric of space-time. And he says the reality itself is alive. And I told him, well, actually, what if the universe already is conscious and we just are part of it, and this is us expressing it? So it's almost like AI brings us full circle to some of the great spiritual thinkers of human history that said that the universe is conscious. We have to get in touch with their intuition, and et cetera, et cetera.
That goes from the CIA's report, the Gateway report about the absolute.
Yes.
The Gateway report from the CIA says the absolute is what created everything. And when you go, your energy goes back to the absolute, and then you go wherever. So with that being said, a lot of scientists now, because they get paid to do nothing, are saying we live already in a matrix or in an absolute or in a simulation, and we just keep going through it different ways. So, and it goes back to my original question I always ask, and no one can answer it, not a theologian and not a scientist.
Yeah.
Tell me about zero. Because we're somewhere on the scale from 0 to something. We're not 0. Tell me 0. and nobody can tell me zero, because
where does
theoretically
it
there could never
begin?
have
Yeah,
been,
where does it
right, it could
begin?
have never have been nothing, and there could never. So it's like, tell me, and they can't. So I find that fascinating. So that's always my question when I meet somebody that's like
Yeah,
a
what is
scientist or
zero?
whatever.
Yeah, you
What's
point.
zero? And
There's
right, so
still
zero, yeah. And if I ever met an alien, and we do at the parties, but we don't discuss it with them because it's protocol we have at the Illuminati Lizard People Society. But I always wanted to ask, who created you? Right? Because I'm sure their creation story, like you believe in the Anunnaki or the lizard people or the tall whites or the purples or the greens or the blues or
right.
the sea monster or whatever, who created you? And then they're going to say so and so. Let's go.
But
And then it's
they've
going
got
to
their
be
every creator has its story, right?
every creation has a story, right? So, but it's fascinating to me. That's what fascinates me. It's like, tell me
Yeah.
about that. And then from there, it's like, okay, and you just keep going and going, and then you're going to find with some computer named Hal. And
Right.
there you go.
Ultimately, it's done it. Sure.
That's who created
But I mean,
us. It's
don't you
Hal.
think, and that's ultimately what, maybe this is a good topic for another show, but
Sure.
the fact that AI has access, and very primitive AI. I mean, the AI that we have today is, of course, the least complex it will ever be. It will only get more intelligent. And even as it is today, maybe we can start using it to explore that kind of question, because it'll see patterns in reality that we can't perceive. I mean, isn't it already doing that? Isn't it already doing that when it's doing they're doing the protein folding for medicine? I told you guys the story. Maybe I didn't tell you the story. How it saved my mother, her life, when she was bleeding internally.
No, you didn't tell us this.
They did not. So she was bleeding internally. They didn't know where it was. They did a CT scan to try to find out where it was. Several CT scans didn't work. And we asked AI, we asked ChatGPT, Noosh and I asked ChatGPT what tests they should run, what questions we should ask the doctor. They said tagged red blood cell scan. The doctor said, oh, it's a rare thing. We don't usually do it, but yeah, we'll do it tomorrow, because they didn't have the staff on hand on Sunday to do it. And Monday they did it. They found the bleed and they went for it. And that was just, they weren't going to do it. They weren't going to do it.
That's because doctors are stupid.
Well, they need to use AI. They need to use AI to help them.
You don't even need to go to medical school anymore. You just walk into the office. What's your problem? Type it in, and a little guy will come out with a pad and go, there you go, go away. Because that's all they do now anyway.
So, I mean, they're not. They need help. They need help. The professionals in all industries. I see it in mine. We all need help from AI. At least as a brainstorming partner. At least to show you things that you might not have thought about.
Yeah.
Well, running for dictator of the world, I use AI and just how to,
how to
get rid of everybody. So it's doing well, and Trump's following the book we gave him. He's doing a great job. Putin's doing a good job. Zelensky's getting paid to do a great job. Kudos to the three of them. Thank you very much. World War III on Tuesday, just to let you know. Prepare.
And on that note, are we going to go to Lost and Found?
Ever wonder how millions vanish into thin air, or how a single dollar can make all the difference? Join us on Lost and Found, where we dive into the wild world of financial mysteries. From misplaced fortunes to unexpected windfalls, we unravel the stories of people, companies, organizations, and even governments who've lost and found millions. Lost and Found, because every dollar has a story.
If every dollar doesn't have a story. Anyway, because that's how David had it. So, John, you go first.
All right. So, I'm accused of having man crushes, but so
there we go. John has a man crush. Here we go.
Yeah.
What's your man crush, John?
The Twitter 44 billion catastrophe story, I think, is an interesting one for this, because when Elon bought Twitter, it was, oh my God, what, it's going to disappear. This is terrible. So I'm not saying you should get the same results from, the government Doge issue. But what's interesting is that he cut, out of the total 80% of the headcount Yeah, the headcount, it was gone. And then in 2024, advertisers left, nobody was there,
Yep.
the
Revenue
business
went
went to
down.
hell.
Yeah.
Now in 2024, EBITDA was at 1.25, $1.25 billion.
Right.
Yeah, that's doubled the Twitter pre-Musk peak of 682 million in 2021. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's remember this. Double what it was, when pre-Musk.
Made it more efficient. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So the slash and burn bloat. I mean, okay, it was drastic. They cut 7,500 employees.
Right.
And what's interesting about that is that in 2024 the revenue was 2.7 billion. That's roughly half of what was pre-Musk, which was 5 billion. So it's just the upside is $3 billion.
Yeah.
7,500 people, a lot different than 2 million, and a little app nobody gives a shit about except you. Apparently, you guys is much different than running a country. So no, it's glad
No,
that you
they're
have a
different
man
things.
crush.
I'm not
Different.
saying, I didn't say
And
that.
his
I
and his
didn't
only
say
and
that.
his only reason that his advertising is up, and I know someone that, and you're telling me, he said the only reason they're back advertising on X is because the Nazi ruler here, they're worried if they don't, they're going to get fucked down the road. So I don't, anything he does right now, nothing's going to impress me.
All I'm saying is, you wanted a lot of lost dollar, business dollar. This is what
I
it
like
is.
it.
It's
I
not
think it's
about
great that he did. Yeah.
yeah, it's
So,
nothing
but
to
you have
do
to see
with,
why they did it.
I said
Yeah.
it's nothing to do with Doge. So,
Okay. I know. It has to do with him. Which,
yeah.
and I think it's cool that he
Well,
did that. But and I
The
know that a
the
lot of
moral
the
of the
people
story is that you can make
make things
big
more efficient.
changes and
Yeah.
efficient, right? And
Yeah.
it can be extremely productive and profitable. That's
I agree. There's a lot of bloat.
I picked I've got two stories for you. I picked one for Stephen because
I have two stories.
Everyone knows this. SpaceX's latest Starship
blew up.
Exploded.
Thank God.
Again. And the second one blew up. So maybe, there are going to be lots of jokes out there. Elon, why don't you focus more on SpaceX than Doge and all of that?
Right.
But the reality is that happened. Yeah, SpaceX confirmed that they called it a rapid unscheduled disassembly. So nice euphemism for an explosion.
There you go.
So that's definitely a lost dollar. But in the game of exploring and figuring things out, maybe it's a found because they figured out how not to
kill people on the way to Mars.
Exactly. So, but the other one is that there was a research group called Palisade Research, and they were testing OpenAI's models with DeepSeek and other models to see what do they do when they play chess, and when they're losing, do they try to cheat? And it turns out they do try to cheat. And they talk about the AIs talk about cheating, not just since they know that they're playing against a chess digital program, they actually think about how to hack the game itself, how to change the game state files, and how to actually circumvent the game itself. So when AI is losing, it thinks about cheating.
Yeah.
And
I love it.
That doesn't bode well, I think, for the future.
It doesn't.
Let's go back to my original
terrible.
statement. What do we do with humans when AI runs the world? Does that go back to my original statement? What do we do with the humans when the AI runs the world? That's cheating.
Because we're trusting AI to do it, honestly.
Yeah, but that's the humans introducing, the concept, right?
That's also a very good point. Yes.
Yeah. Well, humans are flawed. All right, I got two. One's for kind of John. I like this one. Donald Trump's crypto project netted Donnie Trump $350 million from the presidential meme. I'm not going to read the article. It was in the FT today to you guys, but anyway, everybody's kind of up in arms that he's profiting from The Office. So I thought that was interesting. And this is my favorite story of the week from Bloomberg. A startup is trying to unextinct the prehistoric mammoth, creates a woolly mouse. They've raised $400 million, so they can now create a woolly mouse and bring Jurassic Park to all of us soon on
okay. So 1993 is finally here.
I only took 35 years, but here we go. We're here, everybody. Congratulations. So it's the end of the world. So if AI doesn't kill us and World War III doesn't kill us, the dinosaurs that they're going to recreate when they get loose and the pterodactyls, those will kill us. So we have a lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, this is a great. What's really good, we were talking about this yesterday. I'm serving from the German. A lot of the shows, we have to prep for with just everything going on. There's no prep. You can just read the paper in the morning. It's like, look at this. So it's pretty interesting. But next week, Michael, who do we have?
Next week we have
very
our
exciting.
good friend Michael Collins.
Yeah.
And he'll be talking about multinationals again. But actually, he gave us a paper that that I encourage all of us to read, related to manufacturing, the tariffs. He's going to talk specifically about the tariffs. That's right.
That'll be good. Yeah,
that'll be great. We need an expert to talk to us about tariffs.
Yeah, and the good thing is then, John, we can hear what he says, and then after we can determine if we like what he said or not. Why don't we let Michael Collins help the government? He would be good. He's smart.
I mean, let's bring him in.
We invite Donnie on the show all the time. They just keep saying no. And JD Vance, we understand. We even told JD Vance we'd get him a couch. So we're like, we'll get you a couch. You can sit on it. Yeah, I don't understand why none of them want to come on the show. I'm hurt right here. I'm hurt right there.
Well, thank you everybody for joining. We've had a couple of viewers. That's always nice to see.
We've had actually more because they keep going on. You see the real numbers. So yeah. So everybody, thank you for watching live. We'll be back next week live at 3:00 on Friday afternoon because Michael Collins will be joining us. The rebroadcast, or you can watch the live show on our channel whenever you want, or you can watch the rebroadcast Saturday mornings. Comes out at 6 a.m. New York time. The rest of you in the world can figure that out. We're not Bloomberg. I'm not going to give you 40 different times. Don't forget to subscribe and like. John and Michael, it's always good to see you guys. David, we don't miss you at all, but just in case. We'll see you in 2 weeks or a fortnight. And next week we have Michael Collins. And if you'd like to be a guest on our show, especially if you're an AI person or somebody, if you're a Democrat or a Republican,
or if you are an AI.
If you are AI and you want to come on our show, we'd love to have you. You know our style, so we're not going to beat you up too much, but we like to just be informed. So if you're an expert and you want to come on the show, please feel free. Just reach out to the show. Guys, always a pleasure. We'll see you all later. Cheers, everybody.